I was still holding my father's ashes when my husband walked in like he owned the air. I was breathing. Black dupatta on my shoulders, eyes raw, house quiet in that sacred hollow way grief leaves behind. Then the door banged open. Shoes on marble. Voices loud. His mother didn't even lower her tone. "Starting today, we'll live here," my husband said. Calm, final. I turned, slowly. I remember thinking how strange it was that he smelled fresh, like soap and traffic, not incense and loss. He hadn't been at the funeral. He had texted a weak excuse an hour after the burial. "Work emergency. Always work." "This house will be—" I began. He waved his hand, cutting through my sentence like it was smoke. His father was already inspecting the living room. His mother opened cupboards. They didn't ask. They didn't wait. They occupied. Something in me went quiet. Not broken, not loud. Quiet. I married him because he knew how to wait. How to listen. Or at least, that's what I thought. We met when my father was still strong. Still walking without a cane. Still calling my husband Beta with pride in his voice. Back then, my husband used to sit with him for hours, nodding, laughing, pretending to absorb wisdom. He touched my hand gently in those days. Asked permission before making plans. Promised a future built together. I believed him because belief felt easier than suspicion. The shift didn't come suddenly. It crept. Small delays. Missed calls. His mother's voice getting louder in our marriage. Decisions announced, not discussed. I told myself this was normal. Adjustments, marriage. Then my father fell sick. And my husband disappeared. After the funeral, they treated my parents' house like a prize they had finally claimed. His mother moved my father's chair. Because it blocked sunlight, his father complained. About the food. My husband slept peacefully while I cried. Silently in the room where my father had taken his last breath. That was when I stopped asking questions out loud. Instead, I listened. I noticed how my husband avoided conversations about paperwork. How he changed the topic when I mentioned the house. How his mother casually said, "It's good everything is in your name now," assuming it was. That night, I opened the steel cabinet my father had trusted me with. Inside were documents, neat, labeled, prepared. The house wasn't just mine. It was protected. And my husband had no idea. I didn't confront them. That would have been emotional, messy, unsatisfying. I planned. I met a lawyer quietly. Then an accountant. Then the bank manager who remembered my father's kindness. I learned words my husband had never bothered to understand. Trust, nominee, conditional ownership. I smiled at dinners. Served tea. Let his parents settle in. Let them rearrange furniture. Let my husband feel powerful. Meanwhile, I changed passwords. Froze accounts tied to my inheritance. Filed paperwork that turned assumptions into legal traps. I waited. Because revenge rushed is revenge wasted. 3 months later, I invited everyone to sit. My husband looked confused. His mother annoyed. His father impatient. I placed the folder on the table. "Since we're all living together now," I said, "I thought we should be clear." I slid the first paper toward my husband. His eyes skimmed, then slowed, then stopped. "What is this?" he asked. "Eviction notice," I said, calm, almost kind. His mother laughed, then stopped when I didn't. I handed over the next document. And the next? The house was in a trust. My father had set it up years ago. I was the sole trustee. Occupancy depended on my consent. Consent could be withdrawn immediately. My husband's face drained of color. "You can't do this," he said. I leaned forward. "You moved in without asking. You ignored my grief. You decided for me. I'm just following your example." His father stood up, shouting. His mother cursed my upbringing. My husband reached for my arm. I stepped back. "And one more thing," I said, opening the final file. "Divorce papers. Filed, assets separated. Accounts secured." He stared at me like I was someone else. That was the point. They left that evening. Loudly, angrily, carrying bags. They had filled with entitlement. My husband came back once, alone, apologetic, panicked. "I didn't think you'd go this far," he said. I looked at him. Really looked. "I didn't think you'd skip my father's funeral," I replied. There was nothing left to say. Now the house is quiet again. My father's chair is back where it belongs. Sunlight falls exactly where it used to. I drink tea in the mornings without flinching at footsteps that don't respect me. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I didn't fight in the way they expected. I waited, I learned, I acted. Karma didn't strike loudly. It struck precisely. And I finally feel at home,